Yes, Nana, you can get started.
Okay.
Can I just mute everyone 1 minute? And then
Yeah.
you start. Yeah, you can unmute and then start.
Okay. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatetam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamashyadi Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatetam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namani Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Now the PDF. In the PDF, go to the introduction para.
Yes, Nana, just give me 1 minute. Yes. We have some volunteers for reading. Suma, Belaji, they all wanted to. They come forward to read. But I'll leave it to you. If you want to start, you can start, Nana. Is it visible to all?
Yes, Brahmaraj.
Nana,
Yes.
మీరు mute అయిపోయారు. You have muted.
You can go full screen, Brahmara.
Yes, I'll go full screen.
Full screen and enlarge it to the best possible degree.
Is this fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
This
This is
good?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go full screen.
It is full screen for me. I'm not sure. Maybe you should go full screen.
It is full screen for everybody, Brahmaraj.
Okay.
Nana,
Okay.
maybe your computer, I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. It's full screen.
You can enlarge, yeah.
See this PDF document, Brahmara, what you have. It spans how many pages?
I
If
think
I'm not mistaken, 214 pages.
Correct, 213 or 14 pages.
214. I had, going through the 18th chapter text completely, I had picked up nearly about 130 pages of this document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you and your other volunteers, we will do justice to reading this carefully.
Okay.
I'll make a beginning and hand it
Okay.
over to you people, right?
Fine. Fine.
But 130 pages of this document, if
Mm.
we have to do in some 4 or 5 days, suppose,
Okay.
okay, that means quite a lot.
Mm.
Okay, you will have to do maybe about 30 pages per day,
Mm.
roughly. Yeah, I'll make a beginning.
Mm. Okay.
Now, you are welcome to, anybody is welcome to seek any answer for a question, but let the question not be manufactured, as it were. If it's a genuine question, yes, please ask. Stop me as I am reading, please ask. Okay?
Nanaji, I
Yes.
have a suggestion that in this verse, what Bhagavan is saying is that is 60 verse. What he says, Swabhava Jayana, you will do what you have to do. Okay?
Correct.
In other words, he says, if you don't follow me, I will punish you.
No. He did not say, I will punish you. He said,
You will perish.
you will get spoiled. I will not punish. Yeah.
But
Okay. Your voice is breaking, sir.
Okay, I will just wait. Hold on.
Okay. It is contradictory, no?
What is contradictory?
That is Swabhava, with your Swabhava, you will anyhow follow, come to this path.
Okay.
And in the other chapter, other verse, Krishna says, if you do not follow me, you will be perished, or you do not follow the precepts, you will not be, you will be perished. So these are, I felt very contradictory to each other.
No, it is not contradictory, sir. He did not say, if you don't follow me, if you don't follow this teaching,
teaching, whatever is
this teaching you have been listening to for the past 16 chapters, and you have been kind of attentive. In spite of that, you would like to do anything contrary to the teaching, then you will perish.
Okay.
That is the import. It is not as the Bhagavan said, he will perish, he will punish you or anything like that. You will destroy yourself.
Okay.
Okay, unable to understand what is so properly to be understood. That is why he said, I am telling you again and again, this Karma Yoga Anushtana has been the substance through almost every chapter of the Gita. The same thing is reiterated in the 18th chapter. There is no contradiction, sir.
But this shloka, he says, even if you do not follow, or I am under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same.
Correct. That is regarding your decision not to act. Your decision not to act, even though you are deciding unwisely about that, your swabhava will make you act. That is what is indicated. Swabhavajen konteya nibaddhasvena karmana. You are bound by your swabhava regarding activities. If you decide you will not do any activity, karishyasi avashopitat. Your swabhava will impel you into undertaking that action. That is
when
you
follow these 18 chapters.
Yeah, that's it. Correct.
Okay. I got it.
You listen to the summation of the 18th chapter as we go by up to the 60th verse. We will not cover every sloka, But some slokas, the commentary have picked up, which I will be reading. And Ramara, regarding this, I sent you a mail
Okay.
regarding the PDF to be rolled by you, skipping the sloka per se, skipping the pratipadartha, and skipping the tatparya also. After the end of the tatparya, the PDF, that for that particular verse. The verse numbers also I have indicated to you. I sent you a mail just about an hour back.
Should I share? You want me to share that now?
If you want, you share that. After this is over, during your Manana session, you share that.
Okay.
Okay? Right.
Okay.
Now, the introduction to the 18th chapter. Like I said, please unhesitatingly ask any question. Okay? As I go by. Introduction. This last chapter is a long chapter. Though nothing new is said, there is some additional elaboration of the various topics already unfolded in the Gita Shastra. Am I clearly audible to everybody?
Yes, Nana.
Okay. Therefore, introducing the 18th chapter, Shankara says, summing up the meaning of the whole Gita Shastra, in this chapter, the meaning of the Vedas has to be told. Only for this purpose, this chapter is begun. The subject matter of the Vedas is the subject matter of the Gita Shastra, which is twofold, Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya is the understanding of the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi, which reveals the identity of the Jiva, the individual, and the Ishvara. The Jiva is the same thing as the individual. Ishvara, the Lord. And Yoga Shastra is the means of preparing the individual for Brahma Vidya. Thus, yoga includes any karma that is in keeping with the dharma and done with a proper attitude, with devotion, bhakti. It also includes a life of renunciation, sannyasa. We have seen that there are two lifestyles mentioned for the pursuit of moksha. One is sannyasa, a life of renunciation. The other is a life of karma, activity. This life of activity, however, cannot be a means for moksha if it is not attended by a proper attitude. While everybody does karma, if it is to pave the way for moksha, it has to be done with the attitude of a karma yoga. This attitude, bhakti, an appreciation of Ishvara with a commitment to moksha, has to be there not only for the karma yogi, but also for the sannyasi. Even a person who is doing karma purely for a result would offer a prayer to the Lord, asking for that result. He also has bhakti. Devotion is common to everyone who recognizes Ishvara. But then, if moksha is not the end in view, Ishvara is made into an accomplice for your ordinary exploits. If you want to gain some money or power, you ask God also to chip in a little bit. Though the prayer is directed towards Ishvara, Ishvara is not the aim of that prayer. In this situation, we understand that there is a confusion with reference to Purushartha. Artha, security, and Kama, pleasure, become so important that naturally you require Ishvara's help to accomplish them. About this type of devotion, Krishna had said, Mama Vartma Anuvartante Manushyaha Partha Sarvashaha Kanksantam Karmanam Siddhim Yajantaiha Devataha Kshipram Hi Manushe Loke Siddhit Bhavati Karmaja. Where are we? Siddhit Bhavati Karmaja, correct. Which we can paraphrase as, people are all following me alone. Mama Vartma Anuvartante Manushyaha Padda Sarvashaha. But they do not know it. And therefore, they invoke the other devatas to get some small results in this world. Thus, we have a devotee in distress, Ardha, who, whenever he is in trouble, raises his hands and says, "Oh Bhagavan, please help me. Where are you?" Then there is the devotee who uses Ishvara's grace as a means for accomplishing what he wants. And the Ardhati, between the cup and the lip, there are many slips. And he wants to make sure he has a Lord's grace so that there are no slips. There is nothing wrong with either of these. But then we have a third bhakta who does not want something from Ishvara. He wants Ishvara. He is a mumukshu and therefore a karma yogi. He is not simply someone who wants to accomplish. He wants to be free, and for that he wants to know. Where is that he wants to know? Yeah. What he wants to know is his identity with Ishvara, and therefore he is also a bhakta. For the same reason, the sannyasi also is a bhakta. There is no separate bhakti yoga. The sannyasi is absolved from the obligatory duties which the Vedas enjoin a person to perform when he takes the vow of sannyasa. He completely frees himself from all obligatory duties in order to pursue knowledge to the exclusion of everything else. The karma yogi retains his obligatory duties but gives up all actions that are meant to produce some punya or something because of which he will be more secure. He has seen through all that and therefore does only the things that are to be done with proper attitude while pursuing knowledge. The sannyasi has no duties to perform. The karma yogi has only duties to perform. There is no third person called bhakti yogi. If there is, yeah, roll it up. Roll it up to here. If there is, yeah, if there is, does he do karma or not? No, leave it there. Don't frequently roll it up and down. I can't catch the sentence. Where are we? If there is, yeah, if there is, what to do, Brahmara? This, if there is, let it be the first line in the top. Okay? If there is, does he do karma or not? If not, he becomes a sannyasi. If he does, he is a karma yogi. Whether it is a ritual, a puja, or even meditation, it is still an action, and the one who is doing it is a devotee, bhakta. The same actions that are done for the gain of security or pleasure can be done for antakarana shuddhi. If they are not done for the sake of getting small results, that is also karma. But it cannot be called yoga because the purushartha is very limited. In any case, whether he is a karmi or a karma yogi, he is a bhakta. Only two types of commitment, nishtas, karma yoga
One
and
minute.
sannyasa.
Let me roll it.
Wait a minute, are pointed out in the Gita Shastra. Yeah, any question you want to ask, you please ask at the end of a sentence. Okay? Yeah.
It is not a question. I wanted to just roll it up. That's all.
Okay. Karma yoga includes the exact karma that one must do and the attitude with which one has to do it. Other disciplines like meditation, upasana, gaining a value structure, including amanitwadi qualities, puja, etc., are all included in Karma Yoga. If you analyze all the 18 chapters, you will find that neither Karma Yoga nor Sannyasa is predominantly emphasized over the other. Both occupy sufficient space in the Gita format to indicate that the Gita Acharya recognizes the importance of both as a means for moksha. Karma is also mentioned in the Karma Kanda of the Vedas in the form of injunctions to perform specific rituals like the Agnishtoma. A Brahmana should perform Agnishtoma ritual. Brahmanena Agnisthomena yajeta, it is said. For what purpose? It can be for heaven, swarga, or for antakarana shuddhi. Therefore, the karma kanda is not just for a person who wants limited ends, a kami. It can be meant even for a mumukshu, and therefore it is not completely dismissed as useless. But the karma done should be used as a yoga. That is the emphasis. A bird's eye view of Arjuna's questions. From what Shankara says in his introduction to the beginning of the 18th chapter, we understand that Lord Krishna seems to have decided to sum up the whole Gita Shastra and the meaning of the Vedas in this chapter. At this point, Arjuna asks a question. He wants to know the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. His asking tells us that he does not see the difference between the two. Look at Arjuna's question. Originally, in the 3rd chapter, he wanted to know which of the two, sannyasa and karma, is better. If you consider knowledge is better than action, Krishna, why do you enjoin me to do this terrible action, Keshava? By these contradictory statements, you seem to confuse my mind. Tell me for certain the one thing by which I will gain liberation. In the 4th chapter, his question was entirely different. At the beginning of the 4th chapter, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that the knowledge he has just revealed is not anything new. He says that he had himself told it long ago to Vivaswan. This is confusing to Arjuna, and he wants to know how he should understand that Krishna had told Vivaswan at the beginning, since Krishna's birth was after that of Vivaswan. Then Krishna explained that he was not born in the ordinary sense. He created a body for himself out of his own maya. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Although, like Arjuna, he has had many births, he knows them all very well, while Arjuna does not. After that, he talked further about jnana and praised both jnana and sannyasa. Then, in the last verse, he exhorted Arjuna to get up and take to a life of karma yoga. Yogam atishta, uttishta. Arjuna had a problem with this and said to Krishna at the beginning of the 5th chapter, you are praising both renunciation of action and karma yoga. Please tell me definitely which is better. Arjuna does not want both because they are two opposite things. Karma is to be followed, anushtheya, and jnana is something that has to be gained by pramana. Since they are two different pursuits altogether, how can sannyasa and karma yoga be identical? If they are not identical, why are you praising one and asking me to do the other? Then Lord Krishna again talked about sannyasa and karma yoga, saying that what is gained by sannyasi is gained by a karma yogi. Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate. Therefore, both of them are one and the same. Ekam sankham cha yogam cha. But still, sannyasa is difficult to accomplish for the one who, wait a minute, Brahmara. See, Swamiji has given the annotations. Whatever he said there, he has given some numbers. Those numbers are given here 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And they are referring to the Gita chapters. Gita 3.1 means 3rd chapter of the Gita, 1st sloka. Then Gita 5.5 means the 5th chapter, the 5th verse, like that. Yeah, but still sannyasa is difficult to accomplish for the one who, who has no yoga. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogataha. While if you have karma yoga, it is easy. Yoga yukto munid brahma nachirena adhigachyati. Then Krishna again talks about sannyasa and karma yoga, defining real sannyasa as not mere renunciation of karma, but renunciation of all actions through knowledge. Jnanena sarva karma sannyasa. Arjuna was silent, but Krishna, knowing that he did not understand, did not leave the topic, pointing out that the one who does the karmas that one has to do under the given circumstances without depending upon the results of those actions is truly a sannyasi. He is a yogi too. The one who merely gives up the ritualistic karma or the secular activities without the proper attitude is not really a sannyasi. Anashritaha karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. After this, he talks about meditation, saying that one should not think of anything else except Atma. Atma samstam manakrutva na kinchidapi chintayet, and likens the mind in meditation to an unflickering lamp in a windless space. Yatha deepo nimashasto nengate sopamasprutaha yogino yatatishrasta yunjato yogamatmanaha. Yeah, that verse, what I've chanted just now, Atma samstam mana krutva na kinchidapi chintayet, okay. Oh, there is some mix-up somewhere. And like meditation, unflickering lamp in a windless space. Yatha deepo nimatasto nengate sopamasmruta. Arjuna complains that his mind is nothing but agitation. Chanchalam himana Krishna, he says, and considers it to be as difficult to control as the wind. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. See, you may be thinking I'm reading this transliteration into English of the sloka very quickly. No, I'm not reading the English. I'm picking the first word. Then because I know the verse, I'm kind of rendering the verse only, okay? It'll be easy for you also. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoreva sudushkaram. Lord Krishna validates his problem saying that there is no doubt that the agitated mind is difficult to manage. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam, and then assures him that it can be handled by practice and by dispassion. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Dispassion is nothing but objectivity, appreciating what is what. It is all cognitive, and practice, abhyasa, is nothing but a discipline in the light of an awareness about the mind and its ways of thinking. Then Arjuna had another problem. Supposing a person endowed with trust in Ishvara starts this pursuit but makes inadequate effort and his mind wanders away from this yoga, not gaining success in yoga, what would be his last? Would he not die away without accomplishing anything? He had denied himself a lot of small worldly pleasures, thinking he was going to get some Paramananda. But suppose he did not gain it, then being denied of both becomes Ubhaya Vibhrashtaha, and then died away. What would happen? Would he not be like the one of those cloudlets that moves away from the larger cloud mass and perishes? The large cloud mass is moving slowly, and this cloudlet separates from the mass in order to arrive at the destination quickly, but it dissipates and fizzles out. Is it not the same with this person? He is neither here nor there. So what will happen to him? Lord Krishna answers him with a wonderful assurance. Once you have started on this track, there is no way of going back. Anyone who makes an effort for moksha does not go to a bad end. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tatagachati. If at all there is any lapse, it will only be to enjoy for a length of time some pleasant experiences created by one's punya. Then one will pick up the thread, born in a place where there is wealth and culture, or in the family of well-informed karma yogis. Prapya punya krutam lokan, ushitva shashvati samaha, shuchinam shrimatam gehe, yoga brashto vijayate, athava yoginam eva, kule bhavati dhimatam. Etaddi durlabhataram loke janma yadi drusham. That's what Ketaya ends with. There, one's mind will get connected to what one had gathered in one's previous body. Tatra, paurvadehikam, buddhi samyogam labhate. Something happens which triggers one to get connected to whatever was achieved in the previous body. One picks up the whole thing with the sense that it is exactly what one is meant for. One loves what one does and thus pursues further and gains jnana. One will pick up the thread and continue one's journey, and therefore nothing is lost. Most of Arjuna's questions are simple, contextual questions. Only 3 or 4 are real. When he asked what the characteristics of a wise man are, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha, that is a real question. Similarly, Arjuna asked this question at the beginning of the 3rd chapter. If you think knowledge is better than karma, why do you impel me to engage in this terrible action? This is another real issue. And in the 5th chapter, he asks the same thing in a different form. You praise both the renunciation of action and yoga, Krishna. Please tell me which one of the two is better. Now, after all these chapters, he asks the same question in different words. Arjuna Uvacha, Sanyasasya Mahabaho, Tattvamichhami Veditum, Chyagasya cha Hruchikesha, Pradhakkeshini Shodhana. Brahmara, please go to the 2nd verse.
Okay.
2nd verse is skipping the shloka and pratipadartha, also the tatparya. Yeah, the basis for Arjuna's question. This is 2nd verse.
No, this is the tatparya of the first question, the
No,
explanation
go
of
to
the first
2nd
question.
verse.
Huh?
2nd verse. In my wisdom, those are the things I picked up. Okay, 2nd
Okay.
verse, you skip the tatparya also. Roll it up. Yeah, correct. Here, karma is told by the Veda. Okay, this is part of the 2nd verse. Okay, there are different types of karmas. Those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory, nitya and naimittika karmas, and those are called the vihita karmas, and those that are optional, kamya karmas. Punya is accrued by all of them, but even a nitya or naimittika karma done for the sake of security or pleasure, artha or kama, is considered to be a kamya karma. Among the karmas that are mentioned in the Vedas, some very simple, Agnihotra, and some very elaborate, like Ashwamedha, can be considered as kamya karmas because they're all because they all produce results in the form of desired things. A nitya karma is to be performed daily. The Sandhya Vandana, for example, is done every day at sunrise, noon, and sunset by a person who has been initiated into the Gayatri Mantra. Once he gets married, the Agnihotra and other karmas come into the picture. These are all Nitya karmas. Then we have the Naimittika karmas, those that are done on a given special occasion. On the day of an eclipse, for example, a certain karma is enjoined. Similarly, when there is a particular configuration of planets in the zodiac or the death anniversary of the departed soul, there are prescribed rituals. These are called Naimittika karmas. These are mandatory. They have to be done. A Kamya karma, on the other hand, may or may not be done. If you have a desire for a son, there is a ritual prescribed for that, the Putra Kameshti. But if you do not want a son, or if you are not wealthy enough to perform the Putra Kameshti, you need not do it. And the injunction is not violated. Similarly, there are any number of rituals which you can perform if you are interested in a given end. All of them are Kamya karmas and are purely optional. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimittika karmas, but they also produce results because they are karmas. Whenever the result is not mentioned in the Shastra, Shastra means Veda, there is a general rule that the result is heaven. These Nitya Naimittika karmas also can be performed keeping that result in view and will therefore be Kamya karmas. Or they can be done for the Antakarana Shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention is not. Roll it up. Considered a Kamya karma. Even a so-called Kamya karma can be performed for Antakarana Shuddhi, in which case it is not considered a karma, Kamya karma. There are two more types of karma we should know about. One is Nishiddha karma, an action that we are not supposed to do and which is therefore prohibited. We are not supposed to harm any being and therefore it is said, Himsam na kuryat, do not hurt. These actions are prohibited because they produce papa, and Shastra being our well-wisher, Hitaishi, it has to tell us this. The Kamya karmas are not prohibited. They can produce desirable results for you, but those results will be limited in nature. Then we have a fourth type of karma, a prayaschitta karma, which you do as an antidote for wrong actions done in the past. This completely absolves you from the result, karma phala, of those actions. That is also vihita, enjoined in the Vedas. If what you want, your purushartha is very clear, then you will naturally drop kamya karmas and perform only nitya naimittika karmas. This is renunciation, nyasa. Roll it up, please.
Jai Gurudev Nanaji,
Yes, please.
can I ask a question here?
Go ahead.
What are the prayaschitta karmas?
Prayaschitta karmas are indicated in the Veda, I believe. You have to atone for the wrong actions done by you, willingly or otherwise. Okay? To wash away the papa result of the wrong actions done by you, depending on the wrong action that you have committed in the past, there is a prayaschitta karma in association with that is prescribed, I believe. People who know the Shastra know that. There are different types of prayaschitta karmas. Okay? We have to report to the Shastra for that. It is related to the papa karma we have done in the past. Okay?
Nana, another question here. When you say you're doing Nitya Naimittika karmas for Antakarana Shuddhi, what is the attitude? I mean, if supposing you're doing your Sandhya Vandana, you're doing it as a discipline because it has to be done.
That is one.
But how
And
does it not become a kamya karma towards heaven ultimately? Although
if you are seeking the result other than antakarana shuddhi, it becomes a kamya karma. If you are seeking antakarana shuddhi, leaving all other results, including heaven and things like that, punya, you don't have any thought of acquiring punya, then if you do not have the thought of acquiring punya, if you do not have the Swargaloka bhavana, it becomes a karma yoga karma. It is only meant for antakarana shuddhi. Otherwise, even the nitya naimittika karma becomes a kamya karma.
for instance,
That is why what is driven in all these paras I have read just now are the attitude with which you undertake an activity. It is not just the activity per se, it is the attitude backing the activity that matters.
Does this mean for some reason, now for instance, you have taken this sankalpa that you'll do your nitya karma every day. For some reason, there you're not able to perform that nitya karma that particular day. Will it be considered it is meant for antakarna shuddhi? If you're not that flustered, you're not so upset about it, oh, I couldn't do, because then, I mean, I'm not able to draw that fine line between just doing it for the sake of doing it versus having this intention for antakarna shuddhi. Having no intention at all, does it mean it's for antakarna shuddhi?
Yeah, that intention is your attitude. Your attitude is reflected in the intention with which you have undertaken that karma. Like you said, if you have, for some reason, missed doing the nitya karma, which you generally do for antakarana shuddhi, and for you need not do anything to atone for that. Maybe the next day, the same nitya karma, you may like to do twice over. It depends on your attitude to that. If you think you have missed out something, you owe something to yourself, you clear that debt. If you think you do not owe anything to yourself, you carry on with the next day with only one round of nitya karma. It depends on the attitude. Are you feeling guilty that today you missed doing your nitya karma? If you're doing guilty, maybe you should atone for that tomorrow. If you are okay, there's no feeling of guilt at all, because that particular day, say today, you had to go out to help the really needy, and that really needy was in distress, and you have really bailed him out of the distress. And because of that, you have missed your nitya karma. That cannot drive any guilt feeling in you. That is good. Next day, you start as though nothing happened the previous day. If you're feeling guilty, make something to atone for that.
So you're feeling guilty, does it mean that you're linked to the kamya karma aspect? Because if you don't do, you're going to get papa. Does that mean? I want to get that clarity.
That depends on the attitude. With what attitude you started that nitya karma? Is it for your antakarana shuddhi? Nitya naimittika karma, like it was mentioned in the introductory notes. Nitya naimittika karmas, the result is not mentioned in the Shastra.
Correct.
When it is not mentioned in the Shastra, it is generally understood to be for Swargaloka, Punya, Punya Prapti. But if you make a twist and decide this is for Antakarana Shuddhi I am doing now, then the Punya is kept in abeyance. The only Punya you will accrue is Antakarana Shuddhi, which is granted by the same Shastra. Okay.
Better for moksha,
Pardon?
what for Antakarana Shuddhi is better for moksha, not because we are not aiming at heaven.
Antakarana Shuddhi is a prerequisite for moksha to take place in the mind.
Yes, mind, yes.
It's a prerequisite.
And,
It is like
that is better than
Yeah.
having a kamya that I will get heaven.
Yeah. Because kamya karmas, they give you the result depending on how well you have accomplished that kamya karma. They give you the result, certainly, but the result is very limited. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati achalpa medhasam. That phalam will accrue to people who have very little discriminative knowledge. Achalpa medhasam. Ati alpa, very low. Medha. Medha is discriminative faculty in the mind. For those, they will get that result. But that result is anityam, atiswalpam.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas this antakarana shuddhi, it is like polishing a mirror in which you want to look yourself. The greater the polish that you give to the mirror, the more efficient way you have removed the dust and all kind of dirt and things like that, the better is your image in the mirror. That mirror is mind. And the image is that of Atma. The image of Atma will have to take place in the Antakarana. And that has to be clean. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, good questions. Can I go forward, Brahmara?
Yes.
Nanaji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, being in Grihastha, I am doing morning Sandhya Vandanam since I think 7-8 years.
No.
As a Nitya Karma.
Sorry.
Is it okay?
Oh, Sunita madam, I'm not
Yes.
able to gather your question. Yeah.
Actually, I am telling that being as a Grihastha, I am doing Sandhya Vandanam in the morning since 8-9 years. Is it okay as a Nitya Karma?
1 minute. Hey, Brahmara,
Yes, Nanda.
can you translate the question to me? It was not quite clear to me.
Okay. She is saying she's been as a grihastha, she's doing her Sandhya Vandana from the last 7 to 8 years. Is it okay as Nitya Karma? Is what her question is.
Yeah, what for she is doing Sandhya Vandana? What for is she doing Sandhya Vandana?
Sunita ji, you have to unmute yourself.
There was a workshop held as an Upanayana, and there was initiation of Gayatri Mantra. And since then, I just continued.
No.
With what result in view are you doing the Sandhya Vandana?
Not any result, but I am just continuing with that, because when it was initiated, Gayatri Mantra was initiated in that
If
workshop.
it is not any result, you will accrue punya.
Okay,
That is what
without
was
any
just said in the previous paras, which I have read. While Veda did not say what is the result of the Nitya Naimittika karma, of which your Sandhya Vandana is a part. While Veda did not say, it goes to show what is not mentioned exclusively, explicitly, it gives punya, with which you go to heaven. So if you are not having any particular result in mind, it is only punya that will accrue to you.
Yes, I don't have any intention. Without any
So
intention,
if you
I
don't
am
have any
continuing.
intention, it is only
Right.
punya that will automatically come to you.
Okay.
Because any karma you undertake, it ought to have a result. It ought to have a result.
It can be Antakarana
Desire the
Shuddhi.
result differently, you will accrue that differently desired result, like Antakarana Shuddhi.
It can lead to Yaschita Shuddhi, Antakarana Shuddhi, then okay.
If you don't
Like
desire,
that.
it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't desire anything without any
If
intention.
you don't desire, Antakarana Shuddhi, it does not happen.
Okay.
it does not happen.
Automatic.
Your
Right.
antakarana, you will keep on carrying in whatever condition it is. There will not be any improvement for that antakarana
Right.
because you did not desire that.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
does this mean when you're sitting for the Sandhya Vandan or whatever Nitya Karma you're doing, you take this little intention in the mind that I'm doing this for Antakarana Shuddhi. So you bring
That-
in that attitude, that
You
intention.
have that attitude, you need not say that aloud.
Huh.
Like you, when you do the sankalpa, generally sankalpa when you do, samasta durteksha dwara, you will say that,
Yes.
isn't it? Samasta
Yes,
durteksha dwara.
Dara. Shri
So you are
Parmeshwar,
washing out all the papas. You want to acquire punyas. You are saying that openly. The same thing you can say regarding Antakarana Shuddhi, even though you need not say openly, orally, you have that thought in your mind. That is what I said, attitude. It is the attitude that is backing an action that is very, very important, not the action per se. How well you have done the action is beside the point. With what intention you are doing the action, for what purpose you are doing the action. Looking for what are you undertaking the action, that is important. That is karma yoga anushtana. That was the burden of Kitaya right through almost every chapter of the Gita. Okay,
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Nana.
thank you. Can I go forward?
Hari Om, Nanaji, Kshamyatam. Nanaji, our daily puja, what we do, chanting of Devi Stotram or without any intention, that will be considered as
Without any intention means why are you doing? Why are you doing daily? Well, no, whether you are saying that intention allowed or not, whether it is explicit or not, what is digested by your mind before you have undertaken the chanting of the slokas?
because I have been doing since long and I enjoyed doing Nanaji.
Why are you doing since long? Expecting what result?
No result, Nanaji.
Okay.
Then it will come to punya only.
When you have no result in mind, like that gentleman said, what's your name, sir?
Suresh.
Suresh.
Ah.
Suresh, like you said, you will attain the punya.
Punya, that's it.
You will attain the punya.
Okay, Nanaji. But that Kitaya's avyabhicharini bhakti will be like
Avyabhicharini bhakti, correct. Avyabhicharini bhakti is acknowledging that Kitaya is the end all and be all of everybody. And you are keen on knowing him. That requires Antakarana Shuddhi. Tannimittam maham karma karomi. With that intention, I'm undertaking this activity. When you start chanting the chapters of the Gita, if you start chanting for punya, labhyardham, you will get punya. But Kitaya will sleep. You will not get Kitaya at all. If your intention is for punya, chanting the Gita, you will attain to punya. Kitaya will be remote to you. You have a choice. That is the Purushartha. Karmanyevadhikaraste. You have a choice in action. With what intention you are undertaking that activity, that is within your choice. You pick and choose what you want, depending on what you want to be. That is where that mumukshutvam comes. That will drive the Purushartha. Okay? Balaji, did I answer you?
yes, Nanaji. Yes,
Okay.
Dhanyavad, Nanaji.
Yeah. Can I go forward?
Yes, please.
Just one
Okay.
quick question. Here, is it appropriate to think here that Bhagavan Bhavapriyaha?
Say it again.
Bhagavan Bhavapriyaha.
Bhagavan what?
Bhava Priya.
Nama Priya. This
Bhava,
is,
Bhava.
Priya.
no. This Nama Priya and all that.
Not Nama, Nana. It is,
Huh?
he said Bhava Priya.
Bhava Priya, very right. Bhava Priya, very right.
Okay, thank you.
It is, that is Bhava is what? Attitude. Attitude is Bhava, isn't it?
Right.
That Bhava Priya. This is, see, Bhagavan does not want to be pleased. But in order to please yourself ultimately, you make an effort in the direction of pleasing Bhagavan. Like any stotra, you start chanting. The stotra says what? The deity. Supposing Rama, you are chanting Rama Raksha Stotram. You will say Ramasya Prityadham. You say that Prityadham, you know what it means? Not that you are making an effort to please Rama. Rama will be pleased by whatever he has said. Hey, do this for your own sake. I am telling you this is good for you. This will elevate you. Your mind will become very, very pure. I will be very happy when your mind becomes pure. And if you undertake any activity which is in accordance with Sri Rama, what he said, he will be pleased. That's all. Not that he is unhappy and you as a great bhakta will be required to make an effort to please him. No, you have to please yourself first. That will be very pleasing to Rama. Okay? Can I go forward, Prem?
You're muted, Prem.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, it is 8:05 already. Your
Yes.
manana is 5 minutes old.
Yeah.
What is sannyasa? Hey, I will just finish this. Maybe
Yes,
it'll take another 5 minutes
no
and then we
problem.
will call it a day. What
No
is sannyasa? Hey, before this, what we've chanted fully or we left anything?
We finished. No, we finished that. We've come
Okay.
here.
What is sannyasa? Sannyasa, however, is the giving up of even the nitya naimittika karmas. Now, karma is not something that can be given up like chocolate. You can only stop doing it. And when you do, that can be laziness or adharma, because if what is to be done is not done, it creates problems, especially in a society which is based on duties. It is something like a piston saying, I'm not going to work today. If the piston were to stop working, the whole engine will malfunction. Similarly, if the duty enjoined in a society in which everybody is supposed to perform is not done, the whole society comes to a standstill or becomes a mess. Therefore, we have to say here that sannyasa is the giving up of nitya naimittika karmas in accordance with the vidhi. First, he has to go to a teacher with a clarity about what he wants. With purushartha nischaya, he must know exactly what is time bound, anitya, and have a dissipation and have a dispassion towards vairagya, towards that vairagya. Then he must have a love for what is not time bound, nitya, and want only knowledge of that, nothing else. If he goes to a teacher and lives with him for some time until he understands what is going on, the teacher gives him sannyasa. Until then, he is
1 second, 1 minute. Until then, he is performing karmas.
He is performing karmas. But when he takes sannyasa, he releases himself from all obligatory duties by ritual enjoined in the Shastra. That is sannyasa. In a duty-based society, this is not an ordinary thing. A ritual is performed whereby you absolve yourself from playing all roles and performing all duties. Society accepts them. Society accepts that. The Vedas also accept it. How do we know this is sannyasa? The Kavis say so. A Kavi is a person who knows the Shastra, Shastrajna, a wise person who sees things clearly. Dirghadarshi, some of them understand the non-performance of Kamya Karma and Nitya Naimittika Karma to be sannyasa, known as Vividisha Sannyasa, renunciation of action backed by a desire to know. Real sannyasa is Sarva Karma Sannyasa, which is purely knowledge. It has nothing to do with giving up karma, but it is purely in the form of the knowledge. I perform no action. This is what we call the Sarva Karma Sannyasa. Here, however, sannyasa as a lifestyle is pointed out. What is Tyaga? Now, what is Tyaga? Other learned people, Vichakshanaha say, it is renunciation of the results of all actions, Sarva Karma Phala Tyagaha. This rules out Kamya Karma. No one is going to perform a Kamya Karma for the sake of renouncing the Karma Phala. If he does, it is not a Kamya Karma. I may perform the same Karma like Agnihotra or Jyotishtoma, but without expecting result other than Antakarna Shuddhi. This is not looked upon as a result, but it is not something other than myself. In any other result, some obtaining prapti is involved. Punya is acquired and enhanced as artha or kama. Rituals do not produce artha and kama directly. Even though I may perform a given ritual in order to get some money, the performance of the ritual itself does not immediately pronounce the result. In fact, money in the form of materials is made into ashes in the ritual. But the idea is that out of the ashes will come something unseen. Adrishtapala, unseen, unseen, adrishta, which will produce situations that will perhaps help me gain what I want. That is punya, grace. Prayer has this capacity to produce what is adrishta, not visible, but which will accrue to the one who performs the karma and to the one who has the karma performed on his behalf, the yajamana. That will transform itself into situations conducive for his achieving what he wants. Here, however, all the karmas are performed for the sake of antakarna shuddhi, which is not something other than myself that has to be accomplished by an action. When the jiva, retaining his individuality, wants to accomplish something connected to himself, then he gains what we call karma phala. This antakarna shuddhi, however, is not a karma phala because the very prayer itself is able to give antakarna shuddhi. In our shastra, doing a prayer or ritual for antakarna shuddhi, because it is not considered a karma phala, is called karma phala tyaga. There is no phala kept in view, neither heaven nor ardha, security, nor any form of kama, pleasure. What is kept in you is moksha, and moksha is yourself. Roll it up, please. Karma Yoga is Punya Phala is conducive to his spiritual progress. Although the one who works purely for Antakarana Shuddhi has already given up all the Karma Phala, still Karma Phala will be there. Supposing he performs all his Nitya Naimittika karmas only for the Antakarana Shuddhi and then dies without gaining knowledge, then what will happen to the results of his karmas? Even though he did not want them, the result will be there in the form of spiritual punya. This should answer Balaji's question. Then this can give him a situation from where he can get a better start in his pursuit. For everybody except the jnani, Karma phala is always there. Even though the karma yogi has karma phala, there is no question of his obtaining a lower birth, adhogati, in spite of the fact that in his sanchita karma, there are infinite possibilities. Theoretically, even the karma yogi can take any kind of birth. So what is to prevent him from taking a birth as a cockroach or a reptile? The karma done by him as a karma yogi is predominant. In your own store of karmas, certain ones come to the forefront because they have waited for a long time and now have to express themselves in the form of the birth of a given body. But if you have started this kind of a spiritual pursuit, following a life of karma yoga, and then die without gaining knowledge, these karmas cause all previous karmas to be overlooked completely and come to the forefront. The karmas done as a karma yogi are predominant because they are spiritual. That is why it is said, gain the worlds created by punya, living there for an innumerable years. The one who is not accomplished in yoga is born in the home of the pure and wealthy or in the family of wise yogis. Prapya punya krutam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga brashto abhijayate athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam. His mind gets a connection to what he had started before in a previous body. Buddhi samyogam labhate paurvadehikam, and he continues the journey. The time
Nanaji,
Yes,
before
please.
going further, I did not get the clear picture of what is difference between sannyasa and tyaga. It appears to be same to me.
that was what Arjuna's problem was. Arjuna's problem was the same thing. In the beginning of the 18th chapter, Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamichhami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Prudhakeshini Shodhana. I want distinctly, separately, what is this Tyaga, what is that Sannyasa. Now, as Ketapa explained, the Tyaga of Karma Phalas, whatever activities you undertake, the Tyaga, the Karma Phala, is called Tyaga. The renunciation of the Karma Phala is called Tyaga, while the karmas, renunciation of all karmas, is called sannyasa. All karmas means what? Through knowledge. You cannot give up any karma at all.
Okay.
Jnani cannot give up karma. Jnani, he feeds himself, isn't it? Jnani also, it is the deha bhavana that he will feel hungry. He will feel sleepy. When he feels sleepy, he sleeps. When he feels hungry, he eats. And eating is an activity. It is a karma. Sleeping is a karma. So even a jnani, even a jivan mukta cannot give up karma. But a jivan mukta has understood that Atma, which is him, does not do any activity at all. It does not do activity. Exactly. Atma does not have any activity per se.
Yes.
But in its presence, all activities go on. All activities go on through the indriyas, the manaha and the buddhi.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it? In the fifth chapter, sir, in the fifth chapter, Suresh Bhai, Pashyan Srunvan Sprushan Yigran, Gachan Swapan Shwasan, Pralapan Vishrujan Grundhan, Unmishan Nimishan Api, Indriyani Indriyadeshu Vartante. The sense organs are employed in their sense pursuits. Parantu, on the other hand, Aham na kinchit karomi iti. Good. That is the sannyasa. Kitapa has mentioned that is the sarva karma sannyasa. That is jnanena. It's not possible to give up any activity per se. No activity can be given up. The notion that you are the doer of that activity can be given up by jnana.
Okay. Understood.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Okay. Where did I stop? From the material standpoint, it is true. Okay, I'll read from the beginning. This type of punya is different from that which fructifies as artha or kama. That is why astrologists will say you are in a bad period if you are in a situation conducive for a spiritual pursuit. From the material standpoint, it is true. You may be displaced from your home or have no job. But I would say it is a punya kala, a good period for you to learn to grow. In all other periods, you are just drudging, breathing. If you do not accomplish something worthwhile, I would say the whole period is just a period of survival. But this is the period where a person has a luxury to look at himself. That is a great luxury. Any other thing, like a big house, etc., is not a luxury at all. If you have time to look at yourself, that leisure is the greatest luxury that one can have. One is given to this pursuit due to some punya created by certain special karmas. They can be the results of nitya naimittika karma done by a seeker who has not accomplished what he has to accomplish. His prayers have a spiritual content. If what he wants to accomplish is free from artha and kama, it is definitely a spiritual desire. If he wants to change, that is also a spiritual desire. This is not an ordinary desire because people do not want to change. They want the whole world to change so that they can be happy. They can be comfortable. But if I want to change myself so that I can be comfortable with myself, that is an urge for a spiritual change. And this urge has to come from somewhere. Why does not everybody have it? It is not driven merely due to mental pain, because not everybody who has mental pain turns spiritual. He can turn to drugs and alcohol, or crime, or end up in a hospital, or he can be a vagabond. There are hundreds of options. The process of change implies a certain pain. Perhaps the painful situations themselves are a part of the whole game plan of change. But the urge to change is born out of nitya naimittika karmas that have been performed previously for the sake of antakarna shuddhi. Oi, Brahmara. I think Brahmara started meditating.
No, I'm not meditating. If my cursor, someone was unmuted, I wanted to mute them. So my cursor was there. It takes a while to.
Okay. Antakarna shuddhi. Any prayer to change oneself is a spiritual prayer. And Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the steps is to accept a greater power than yourself, and another is to hand over everything to that power. They have sayings like, let go and let God. This is an attitude that involves letting go of your attempt to control situations and letting God decide. Now, this is a very special, very difficult thing, for he does not know what God is. This prayer, I would say, is spiritual. It is not for artha or kama, it is for change. That is the real prayer, born of a mature heart. And that prayer itself is born of some punya. Therefore, nitya naimittika karma done purely for antakarna shuddhi is called tyaga. In this verse, Bhagavan has briefly answered Arjuna's question about the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Sannyasa is the giving up of all kamya karma, and tyaga is the renunciation of the results of all actions. Now, there is a contention which is introduced by Bhagavan himself. We will attend to this tomorrow, okay?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Nana.
Now, Brahmara, you know this? Tomorrow, go through your mail.
Right.
Based on that, you may project that either
Fine.
you or any other volunteer, any other bhakta can take up the third. Can you roll it up? Is it third verse? Chadyam dosh, yeah, third verse. Okay, I think third verse also I have mentioned, I think. Second, yeah, third also I have mentioned. This either of you can take up tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You mentioned this.
Yeah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om, Dhanyavad Nanaji.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad. Hari Om, Nanaji.
Namaskaram.